Hello and welcome to the Degenerates Basement podcast. I am your host, Somerobottoaster. So, updates on the channel. I have a Sonic versus, Wow, my brain decided to die at the worst fucking moment. I have a Sonic vs. Emerald animation based on the final boss of Sonic Battle in the works. And I also have a video analysis called Cool, Dumb, and Stupid Facts in Colorado. Anyways, who are you people?
Alex Michaels, or known as Crack Sparrow.
You want to give the background behind that nickname?
Oh, well, it's more of like multiple things I do. It's more of like my personality gives off the like Crack Sparrow. Like, just me being a crackhead and like people kind of always told me that I remind them of Johnny Depp and like his Jack Sparrow, you know.
So I am some robot toaster because it's some nickname I woke up in a cold sweat and decided that's what I will be called from now on.
That's a pretty good name.
So I guess today's episode is mostly gonna revolve around storytelling. I know you have some interesting Job Corps stories.
Oh man, where to start? Stories. I think the scary stories at Job Corps is the first thing that comes to mind. I got told that. So I found out that over at the utensils, like the forks and the spoons, they don't have sharp knives out because a person took a knife back to his room and slit his roommate's throats open, and so they no longer keep the knives out. That's like only like one of the stories. Like, imagine that. Just a door down, just minding your own business, just to find out that your neighbor just killed your your whole entire neighbors. Like, that's crazy.
I know like Job Corps is supposed to help people and shit, but the stories that I hear, it honestly sounds like a trap house that tries to give you a job.
Honestly, like, there's a lot of good things that come out of it. Like, I would say, you get an allowance. You do get good skills I didn't learn in like regular like school. It was an experience, I would say. I met this one person that dated like every new person. I mean, like, this person like dated every new person. It was crazy.
My friend Sky, who will be a guest later down the line in this podcast, refers to those people as diaper snipers.
Diaper snipers. Wow.
People who are purposely out on the hunt for new meat.
New meat, that's one way to put it. That's how I would say it, though.
That was the nicest way I could put it.
It's the only way I would put it. Another story that comes to mind, not Job Corps, but down on the island. Someone brought brass knuckles to school, and after school, or like, they went like out off the property, but in the middle of the street, straight made start a fight, and it was fucking crazy. And that's just one story. Another story was all in one day, 5 fights happened. I'm like talking about like gang fights. I'm like, it was crazy, and it happened at different times. I witnessed at least parts of at least 4 of them. It was crazy. It was so crazy that they had to call the cops. And like we were on like lockdown, and like I just saw it all happen. It was like towards the last period of the day, and I had cosmetology, and my teacher wasn't there, so I was just walking around. It was crazy.
One of my favorite fight stories came from some stupid shit. Alright, so this story is a roller coaster. So Jason, who will be another co-host down the line in this podcast. I love having to introduce new names on my show. Anyways, Jason's girl cheated on him with another guy at the school we were going to. So, naturally, as high schoolers, they decided to have a dick measuring contest and decided to fight during lunch. But, like, Jason was hitting this man so fucking hard, and the sun was shining in the right position, that every time Jason knocked blood out of this man, we actually saw it sparkle a little as it flew out. And they had to actually call a fucking ambulance after the fight. Jason went fucking Super Saiyan.
Damn.
Now, here's where the story keeps continuing. I eventually talked about this story at the next high school I was going to, and this girl decided to talk shit about my story and act like I was making it sound cooler than it was. This ended up being one of the many girls Jason ended up fucking during high school, and like, this woman doesn't realize that I know that her Jason was my Jason, and that power I hold of her makes me happy.
Damn, that is hilarious.
Like, how fucking ironic. She went to talk shit about my Jason, and out of all the Jasons she could have fucked in Colorado, it ended up being mine.
That is hilarious. Talk about payback. That does remind me, when I was on the island, I got into this fight. It was like a quick fight, like 3 seconds. This dude got me into a headlock and hit me in the face. I broke out and started punching him 3 times. One in the leg, one in the stomach, and then one in the face. But when I punched him in the face, it hit so hard, it rung out throughout the hallway. The funniest part was the hallway is outside, so you have to imagine how hard I had to hit for it to echo. That had to be pretty hard. And it was so hard, I knocked the vision out of him. The only reason why I didn't get expelled or suspended was I helped him up and then helped him to the nurse's office afterwards, because the vice principal was right there in the room. Like, he heard what happened, because apparently it was that loud. He came out and was like, "What happened?" I'm like, disagreement. What else can I say?
Another one of my favorite fight stories at Coronado was between professional neckbeard I bullied. Fuck, I don't got a code name for these two people. Alright, we'll refer to them as D and B. Professional neckbeard B was getting in beef with professional drug addict D. Anyways, B went outside of the class they both shared, and the only class they both shared, and just immediately talking shit about D right as soon as class ended. D walked out and heard this shit, so he was like, "Oh, you want to do this? Okay." Just ran up to him and started solely going for those face shots. And keep in mind, their arms are like 2 of mine. So this was like a fight between, like, we could say like middleweights. Heftier people.
Okay.
Anyways, D fucked B up so bad that B was actually in a daze and D just stood still. Everyone was yelling at him to kick his ass, whoop him, ended a bunch of other shit. Dylan, oh my god! I'm gonna have to censor that. Anyways, he was waiting for someone to yell finish him, which is hilarious because I was standing 50 feet away at the stair entrance, and I was thinking of shouting that from a distance, but at the time, I was the new guy at school and anxious and didn't want to be the guy who yelled a Mortal Kombat reference in a fight.
Right, that makes sense.
I'm a little upset I didn't because I would have been the man who made this picture-perfect fight end.
Picture-perfect fights. I wish I had picture-perfect fights.
Well, I guess it helps that Dylan... God damn it. I'm done with this. Dylan grew up as a scrapper, and Brandon grew up as a professional neckbeard. Like, this is a story for another time, but this man was so pussy-whipped, his girlfriend forced him to call her while I was at his house spending the night and forced him to have phone sex with her while I was in the room.
That is fucked up. That is
one of the most uncomfortable experiences I've ever been through.
I bet. Like, I heard people have some very uncomfortable experiences, and I would say that is at least top number 5.
It's gonna sound fucked up, but I'd rather walk in on an orgy of strangers than listen to my virgin neckbeard friend have phone sex with his long-distance girlfriend he's never met.
Damn, that is something. The only thing I can picture worse is a fat person getting raped by a girl with a strap-on dildo.
Are we allowed to make that joke?
I don't know, because it actually happened to someone.
You know, we're 12 minutes, and that's... The advertisers aren't fucking listening anymore. Fuck you, Susan. Oh, Susan's YouTube former CEO.
Okay.
Let's see. Fuck, I had another fight story in mind because that's what we're going on. Alright, so, did your school have the annual bathroom brawls?
No.
Did anybody fight in the bathroom at your school?
Not that I know of.
That was like the place to fight at my school.
Honestly, everyone, like, at least down on the island, they just fought everywhere. They didn't give a shit. Not one fuck to give. And like, they could have gave so many fucks, but they didn't. I'm like talking about, like, even the vice principal was watching. He did become the principal eventually, and he still watched, and he's like, I made a comment, I'm like, look, I'm not in the fight, but he was like, but you're watching the fight. I'm like, you're watching the fight too, but you're not even breaking it up.
I just remembered my only fight story, and, well, I've already told you, I gotta share it again on the podcast. It's anticlimactic as fuck, anyways. So, for a year at middle school, my cousin was actively defending me from all the bullies. Anyways, there's this little shit who was constantly trying to flirt with her and get with her despite her clearly not being interested. At the final day of school, everyone comes up to me like, yo, Angelo, she had your back the entire year. You just gonna take that shit? You just gonna let that man do that shit to her? So I just fill my lunch bag with rocks, walk up to him. So, like, my lunch box was a fabric one, like a foot tall. We could say like 5 to 6 inches wide and had a handle on top, so I had the handle over my back like an anime student.
Okay,
and this is relevant because when I went up to him, I just overhanded onto his head and just start beating the shit out of this man with a rock-filled lunchbox.
That would fucking hurt.
Well, if you're gonna fucking be a constant pest to a woman asking her out all year, and she has family at that school, kinda asking for it.
Kinda are.
One thing I wish is that they went to her other cousin, who is actually capable of fighting, but no, I was the one who got peer pressured into that shit.
Goddamn.
Like, goddamn, you had to get the nerd who never fought before. The dude who took Taekwondo fucking Do as a child. The debatable, not effective martial art.
Yeah. The only other fight I can think of is it was after school and I Superman punched him. That's how I started the fight. I wouldn't say it was a fight I won, but it was a tie. I Superman punched him. He landed about one good shot, and I landed about 3 other good shots. But then he got me into like a chokehold. But my friend had a knife on him and threatened him with a knife. I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know any of that. I just thought he let me go and we just walked away. But knowing that he had a knife, if things escalated any further, that would have been really bad. It was crazy.
Sorry. I'll let you finish.
Talking about that did remind me of another fight, but what were you gonna say?
I was gonna transition from the fight topic to more comedic stories from like my high schooling, you at Job Corp, but I'll let you finish the final fight story.
Yeah, the last fight I could think of would be the one, it was after PE. It was like a week after that one fight, and it was after PE, and it was hot, and we come in, and since it's outside, classrooms kind of like indoor, but shutter windows. I closed mine, and the ones I closed were broken, so you can't really open them unless you open them by hand. This one kid comes in and thought he could be a hero, and I was like, no, I'm not opening them. I'm willing to compromise and have one open and one close. And he's like, no, open them. So I put my hand on the top one, and he opens the bottom one. I'm like, all right, there you go, one's open. He's like, oh no, open them. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna open them. He pushes my hand off of it. I stand up, push him. He retaliates, pushes me back. Right when he pushes me back, I go flip a desk. And these desks are connected by chairs. I flip it so it's fully flat on the ground. And while I flip it, I punch him in the right eye. And then punch him 2 more times where he falls back into the back desk. Man, that was hilarious. The worst part was right when I realized what I did. I was like, man, I'm about to get picked up here soon. He gets back up and tries punching me, but he barely even made me move an inch. It was hilarious. But yeah, that was the fight scene. It wasn't long, but I later found out that during the parent-teacher conference, my man had a black eye. That sucked.
I had a completely different story to talk about, but since you mentioned parent-teacher conference, I had a teacher who, mind you, I had below a 15% in that class, but during parent-teacher conference, she didn't choose to complain about my 15%. She chose to complain that I had a girlfriend. So, mom, being the reasonable person she is, when she was telling me all the things my other teachers say, she said, this specific woman, I'm just gonna ignore her. She sounded like a bitch.
God damn.
Like, I fucking love it when teachers act like they have more power over a child than the fucking parents.
Right? That is very hilarious. I remember my mom thought, my principal thought she had more, like, authority. My mom got her fired.
I love how you keep reminding me of memories. So, during my final year at school, I was going through major depression, and my counselor was a huge religious woman, so they had me have active makeshift therapy appointments with her. You know, kind of a bad fucking idea, as school counselors are not legally allowed to do that anyways.
Yeah.
She kept trying to resolve all my depression problems with God at the end of everything. So one day after 3 months, I just fucking snap at her, and she calls the security guard and a bunch of other teachers to back her up because she thought I was going to kill her or some shit. She got fucking fired.
I would be the same. I would snap. Like, you can't press that. That's your religion. You can't press that onto me.
The last time I allowed people to press religion onto me was baptismal, and I only allowed it because I knew I was gonna get $500 at the end of it.
See, you get money out of that. I would not mind that. That would go towards other things.
Oh, I straight up joined religion for money. I do not give a fuck about religion beyond that.
Honestly, my religion is more like I would believe all the gods exist, and they all pitched in making a world. Like, it was a group effort, and they all pitched in. Then God came in and was like, oh no, I did it all. Made the book, threw it at them, like, oh, here you go.
One thing I find interesting is how good certain religions are great at gaslighting. And listeners, for the record, it was a Catholic church I was baptized at. You know, makes sense how I stole $500 from a church. Anyways, they said that God created science, and through science, Earth was created naturally. So, you know, kind of more clever than Christians being like, Pop, here's everything. But at the same time, that's like professional manipulation right there.
And I would think, like, scientifically, I know how the Earth was made. It was just a giant, like, asteroid that was big enough to attract big other asteroids and eventually form the Earth. That's like, but, you know, gotta love the Christians, because you would think what would be older, the Earth or the Sun? Well, to the Christians, it would be Earth.
I believe the Milky Way galaxy was created when a dick-sized meteor flew into our sector, exploded and came in the galaxy, and that is the Milky Way galaxy.
Makes sense. That makes sense. That makes so much sense, and that makes sense of why I always say suck the galactic. It's my favorite phrase, you know, right next to suck the cosmic cock.
So this is an actual fact, and I can't remember what mythology pantheon it is out there, but some mythology pantheon out there believe that the Milky Way galaxy was created by the breast milk of a goddess.
God damn.
One thing I love explaining to people is stupid shit that was an explanation before science. Like, succubus. You know what a succubus is, right?
Of course.
Alright, so anyways, succubus was the explanation for wet dreams before scientists came out and said, hey, y'all fucking retarded. No demon's fucking you.
Goddamn. The only thing that comes to mind is the weird fact. I know. It's like, it's two weird facts now. Another one popped up. Did you know when whales have sex, It's 3. And one of them's a bed. Like, doesn't get any action. It's fully just a bed.
Oh, so it's the cuck of the relationship.
Well, yeah, because what happens is whales can't swim upside down, so they need hope. So my man's just straight a wingman. Like, talk about hoping.
What a homie, but imagine that's your fate. To help
Right.
your other friends get laid. That's like some Red Skull shit from Infinity War saying, I guide others to a treasure I cannot possess.
That is so hilarious. I think the worst part is now I'm realizing it, because later down the line when the dude's done, the main man's done, not all of it goes in. Most of it like spills out. So like that, I would think that's the reason why the sea's salty for the main reason. But like you just covered
Oh my
your
God.
wingman in jizz. Imagine that. That would suck.
Speaking of whale dicks,
They're as big as a Volkswagen Beetle.
oh my God.
You mentioned dicks, I wasn't gonna bring it up.
No, I mean, okay, that's the second fact about whale dicks. The one I was gonna bring up was different. It is believed that when whales pop their boner above the surface, and, again, pre-scientist people, obviously sailors, saw these things, that they thought that's how the Kraken legend came.
Okay.
Alright, the second myth for the Kraken legend is the giant octopus, but we're more likely to see a whale dick than a giant octopus that high,
These
that
days.
close to the surface.
Yeah. Alright, last fact about whale dicks. Gotta make it the last fact because we don't want to talk about that too long. Is
What is this, the Whale Dick Podcast?
No, but we're not gonna make it that. But last fact that I know is, don't worry, we'll change it up with raccoons. A small child can go up through the hole of the dick. That's how big it is.
That is called a urethra.
Oh yeah, so you were at that.
And that is fucking terrifying.
No, terrifying is the raccoon fact I know. It's more of a human fact at that. Did you know that an average human's asshole can spread up to 8 inches wide?
Oh yeah.
Therefore, 2 raccoons can fit up your ass. Because raccoons can fit up to 4 inches wide. So, that is that fact.
People are fucking cursed, dude.
They are.
Well, if we're gonna bring up unfun curse facts, do you ever think some kidnapper got an Amber Alert about the missing child and was like, oh shit, fucking pops him in the face?
I think that's the main reason why some people will be like, why do they even send this out?
Now, I love Amber Alert as an idea, but so many people either mute that shit or it lets the kidnapper know that they're a suspect.
See, here's the thing. I'm one of the people that would mute that. Like, now, if it doesn't pop up too much in a new area, it doesn't bother me. But on the other hand, kids being kidnapped too often, I think it's more like the parents being on the hand, the dad from Taken, 3 movies, come on, dude. After 3 movies, are you really, is it him or something else? Come on.
There's this movie called The Poughkeepsie Tapes, which is a mockumentary about a New York serial killer. I'm bringing this movie up because this man basically kidnaps all of his victims, and most of these victims were fucking smart about the situation. This man just happened to get the upper hand. So I wouldn't blame it entirely on the parents. Sometimes you just get unlucky and fucking Michael Myers crosses your path.
That is true. But then again, I wouldn't let my little kid go off alone.
I mean, you see how paranoid I am. I don't even let Allie go outside if the blinds are open and I can't just look out and see her wherever I am.
Yeah, that is true. It's crazy. You wanna know what's crazy? Accidents is like, I once got nailed in the face with a dirt clod where it knocked my tooth out.
Oh, those kind of accidents. I thought you were talking about car accidents because I do have
no.
a story for that.
I never been in a car accident.
I witnessed one.
I always thought, what would I do if I witnessed a car accident? Like, would I go and try to help the person out? Would I more likely get hit trying to go help the person out with another car coming out? Would I just stand there, laugh? Or would I just walk away and do nothing?
So at the time, me and my ex of 6 years were still together, and we saw the crash together, and we were going to stop, but then everybody else just started going to, what's that word called at the edge of a highway? Well, they all fucking parked, obviously not standing in the middle of the road.
They all went to the side.
Yeah, they all went to the side, the fucking edge to help this person. And me and my ex were like, oh, he got help. Just fucking keeps going on. And we were like the second car behind the car that crashed. So, like, a lot of people like to joke, oh, hey, happy you're okay, but I'm busy. Fucking drives off.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that, I would just drive off. Like, it just sounds even more, like, fucked up. Happy you're okay, but, you know.
I want to... Now, I'm gonna have to defend the person who just drove into a ditch for a bit, because I cared enough to actively look into the news to see what the fuck happened, and, words are not my friend today. Where is my train of thought? I love how I was trying to make a reference to puppet history and I literally forgot what the fuck I was trying to say. Oh yeah, according to the news, they forgot to take their medication that day.
Well, it happens.
I think what's the most interesting part of this whole ordeal is while scrolling through Facebook, one of my friends shared a video of that exact accident, and it was the people directly behind the crashed car. So those were the people that were right in front of us while we were driving. Like, holy shit, if only I got to see it through the crashed person perspective, that way I could have seen all three perspectives.
You're right. That would be crazy. Imagine that.
So, you got any more Job Corps stories you want to tell?
Let's see, another story. Oh my god, I got one. I do got one. Alright, so, like, my teacher left for, like, a minute. Not even a minute. And I don't know how it got to this point, but, like, it ended up with, because I would always go to the wellness center and grab condoms. So I would always have condoms in my backpack. And we put a condom on someone's head. That's the basic. But right when, like a minute after I put the condom on his head, he got up, started walking around, and that's when the teacher got in. And instantly he looked at me and he knew it was me. That kind of reminds me of another thing. The cleaning closet. We had to clean a lot and do chores, but we couldn't, like, actively have the cleaning closet open. It was locked, but it was so easy to open. I could have took a plastic spoon and opened it. You gotta imagine how embarrassing that is. This is a government facility, and I'm using a plastic spoon to open a lock that's supposed to keep me out. That is, I would say, the most embarrassing thing in existence. But the thing is, like, the RA instantly knew. It was like, alright, who did that? And looked across the crowd of people exactly towards me and was like, and just gave me that look like, really, Alex? Like, I never got in trouble, but people got, like, in trouble and got written up for it because there's cameras, but I never did. I did it like 3 times. It was crazy.
This is why you will go down as the legend Crack Sparrow.
Man, like, my roommate left for a weekend and I was thirsty, and I used the pipe cleaners, and I broke into his locker and took a Mountain Dew.
I've been wanting to make this joke for a while, but it's like one of the security at jobcorp goes up to you and says, "You are without a doubt the worst inmate I've ever heard of." And you, with your Crack Sparrow ass, just looks at him dead in the eye and goes, "Oh, so you have heard of me." Fucking plays the Crack Sparrow theme as you fucking swing off on a rope.
That is hilarious. But you say inmate, that reminds me. Someone was court-ordered to jobcorp, because that a lot of people do get court-ordered. Not a lot, but you will meet the casual court-ordered person. What happened was, right before he got kicked out, because he got found to have a shank on him. But not just that. They didn't find the shank on him right away, so they searched his room to find 8 shanks. So 8 more shanks on top of the shank that he already had on top of him. Yeah, easy to say, my man didn't make it to the next day.
Motherfucker, dude. What kind of...
That exact person also threatened to rip out my throat. Security did nothing. Right there, standing right there. It's like, what happened? I'm like, goddamn, do your job. He threatened me. A minor threatened me, and I can't even do anything about it.
Public security is literally the Paul Blart Mall Cop of the world. My story with security is, in middle school, there was this guy who gave me a bloody lip. So I went to front office bitch about it, and she asked me who did it. So I said the name of the person who did it, and she looked at me like I just said a fucking joke, and she was like, "Him? Little him last name?" Like, bitch, I barely stand 5'1" in boots. Do not fucking talk to me about little.
Right.
Like, according to Des, who will be another guest down the road of the podcast, said, "Bitch, they're both short people. One of them is going to be bigger than the other by chance."
By chance. Yeah, by chance one's gonna be bigger. God damn. That is... another story is, I was at jobcorp. I was at the cafeteria, and I was on my way to the cafeteria, and I heard 2 people got into a fight, and the roommate busted his eyebrow open. It was crazy, and apparently a lot of blood was gushing out. But that does remind me of another incident. It wasn't at my jobcorp, but another one. It's the reason why we had to start locking up the tool shed all the time. someone went in, grabbed a hammer, and then went out and smashed someone's skull. It is crazy, hilarious, and funny. Sorry for whoever died, but probably a dickhead.
This is why I say I'm aware Job Corps is supposed to give you skills for fucking work, but it literally sounds similar to some of the prison and jail stories I've heard.
I heard one of the Job Corps that were closing held a lot of like students that were court ordered there. So and it was like a very juvenile rent center, and they were like closing down. I wonder why. Juvenile doesn't work. That was crazy. I think the craziest thing I did was how I got kicked out of Job Corps. It started out as an easy food fight. That's what I did. That's what the only thing I did was the food fight. I threw some cake in some plastic wrap. That escalated into someone bunching it up into like a ball and throwing it at people. That was like how it really started. I was the first one that was thrown at, and then there's another person, the wing leader. Someone was throwing it so hard it started leaving welts on his body.
Holy shit, dude.
That is not even the worst part. The worst part is he then let everyone slap his back one time, and people were abusing it so badly. I'm talking about like one of the biggest dudes that did it, like participated, slapped him so hard he like went up into the air like an inch and forward an inch. It was crazy. Not even that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part is I didn't even go into the room. I was chilling in the RA's office. All of them went into a room, and then he got hit with a belt. That's the worst part. And I remember hearing the RA talk about how all the students were coming out, and she's like, that's not suspicious at all. All the boys coming out, such a small room.
Gay.
Right? I'm talking about like two people were like gigantic. Like they were at least 6 or 7 feet. Like they were tall.
Speaking of male students in a room, well, yes, this sounds suspicious. Anyways, while taking the guitar at my final high school, which was a charter school, the teacher was sending students who had multiple music classes into the small recording room because, you know, they already took the mandatory music test all the students were supposed to take.
Okay.
My stupid friend, Zach, as soon as they went into the room, he waits for all of us to really get into the test. Like 5 minutes in, he just starts banging against the wall and just starts fucking moaning. Making it sound like him and my other friend were fucking.
Damn, that is crazy. Imagine that.
Now, this is gonna sound fucked up, but knowing music students and the reputation of that school, students definitely fucked in there. The fact that he decided to be funny about it is just a coincidence. Bro, someone probably took you seriously who was a regular in that room.
Right. But I will tell you this, over on the island complex, I saw this video where one of the students were just fucking in the classroom. Like, they found an empty classroom, and it's easy down on the island because, like, hurricanes hit and some classrooms just close down. and you can't use them. 2 students just straight snuck in and just fucked right on the desks. It was crazy. I'm like, god damn. I'm like, what kind of video is that? Oh wow, that's a nice video. Wait, that's Complex uniform.
Oh, I'm gonna have
damn.
to censor that. Hey, you went longer than me than exposing somebody, so you got at least that for yourself.
What, a Complex uniform? I didn't ever expose someone's name though.
Ain't fair. I just didn't know you were gonna say what job corps you went to.
Oh, that's not even a job corps, that's a high school.
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot.
I haven't even exposed my job corps name. I wouldn't do that. I'm trying to go back. Like,
Yeah.
off chance that they found this.
It's
that
like
they can't leave.
it's like you're there. Some guy goes up to you and goes, "So the Legend of Crack Sparrow," and then it takes you a second. Then you fucking remember this night.
Man, honestly, if there was a way for the Legend of Crack Sparrow to live on and everyone knows it was me, that would be crazy. Because on the island, everyone knew it was me. Everyone knew. Well, on the island, everyone called me 6ix9ine, but I hated it. I hated everyone calling me 6ix9ine,
yeah.
but that's what they called me. But they're like, eventually they got to know my name, and they called me Alex. But they're like, oh, hey, Alex, and everyone knew me because I bleached my hair and dyed it purple.
Yeah.
But what happened was when it faded into different colors, kind of, and that's why they called me 6ix9ine.
That's unfortunate.
Eventually, I started calling them "Hey, stupid" every time someone called me 6ix9ine, because they were stupid because they were calling me 6ix9ine.
Since you mentioned how 2 students found a spare room, my friend Sky, he went to a college prep school. A college prep school that's all that you live at, by the way. Anyways, out of all the weird, clever shit I've heard any student ever do at that school, one man found an abandoned room, managed to break into it, relock it, and break into it every time he felt the need to jack off. And then one day his fucking friends caught him, and they all forced him to give them the ability to get into the room.
Oh my god, but that reminds me of my roommate. My roommate, for some reason, he bragged about this. But he told me and my other roommates that he has went through every room or every building and has jacked off. There was 5 buildings. He jacked off in every one of them. One of them's the female's wing.
Alright, that
is crazy.
he's literally put himself in the position to ruin his livelihood with that one.
The only reason is because at the time they were doing quarantine, and some students got quarantined, and there was less female students than male students. So the top of the female dorm was quarantined because of COVID. So that's probably when he did it. It's crazy. Like, why? But then again, I can't say anything because I've done crazier. I don't know if I should mention it.
Yeah, this is something I think I want you to tell me before the show so I can okay it.
Yeah.
I'm terrified because as soon as I end the episode, I'm gonna ask.
I bet you are. That's how any rightful person would do in their line of age.
Like, hey, I care about my career, but I have a morbid curiosity. What I do when the mic is off, fuck you guys, you will never know.
Hey, I will tell you this, it's like on the scale, and it's like a big scale, like a baby in a dumpster to 10 dumpsters and a baby. And in between is... Oh, I forgot the joke. But it's not that bad. Nowhere close.
No what?
It's nowhere close that bad. What I did. It's not bad.
Shit.
Once I have done that bad of the things, like I think people done bad worse. So on the island, I had a girlfriend, and there was this one day where my step-grandmother woke me up, didn't tell me why, woke me up, so I got up, got dressed for school, and left early. Should've told me why. Why you woke me up? Well, she wanted me to steam the floors. I found out once when I got back from school. Well, I left and went to my girlfriend's house, and her mom wasn't home, and eventually her aunt showed up, and I was just sitting in the kitchen pouring a glass of water.
Oh fuck, okay, I got really scared. My heart was racing.
Okay.
The way you were phrasing the story, I thought she walked in on you two fucking on the kitchen counter.
No, we were cuddling in her bed, and she was like wearing like very short shorts. But no, we didn't fuck. I won't do that to you on your podcast.
Starts crying with PTSD because I gotta re-listen to this before I publish it.
At least I don't have to hear my voice.
Oh god, I'm gonna be listening to my own voice.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one horrible part. Or you could just have Daz listen to it and just
like, hey nerd, what's your email? Here's my podcast, listen to it.
Right, that would be funny. Another incident is at jobcorp. No, I got injured a lot. I kept on twisting my foot. This one dumbass, he jumped up and hit an exit sign, and the exit sign fell on him. That was hilarious. It's another instance. My roommate touched my shit without asking. So, in retaliation, I put condoms all over his shit, and then blew condoms up in his shoes, and covered his shit in condoms. He asked me why. I'm like, you touched my shit without asking.
Oh, your stuff. Okay. I'll be honest, you made it sound like he molested you, so my heart was like fucking racing at a mile's pace.
He touched my cards. Like my Magic the Gathering cards. He didn't even touch me.
Sorry. The magic part fucking, it got me.
No, that's fine. If anything, I was the one that, because I took my belt and I just started whipping him because he wouldn't give us money for wings. I wanted wings and he wouldn't give me that. So I made it like, should I say racist joke? No.
No. Oh my god, was he that color?
Yeah.
God damn it, Alex.
But the thing is, we were close too. Like that wasn't the problem. If it was a problem, I would have been kicked out for that and not throwing food. You know. But all's good in Will's war, I guess. I said things, he said things.
Shit.
No, he didn't really say things. I got thrown against the wall once.
Speaking of... You know what? I don't even know how to segue into this. It's just... So, I want to go more into my Comic-Con stories, but at a time where I have Des over, because she's been to Comic-Con more than me and can share other Comic-Con stories. Anyways, I'm gonna say during that time, one of my friends was high-key crushing on... I can't remember what Sailor Moon character it was. It was the one that wears a kimono in her civilian outfit. Her main color is red in the Senshi uniform. Gibberish to you, but something that will help the audience understand what Sailor Scout I'm mentioning.
Yeah.
Anyways, my friend was getting changed in the bathroom. I was staring outside, and I just sarcastically go, "Oh, friend, look, that anime character you got a crush on. Some girl is dressed as her." He fucking came, running out of the bathroom in the middle of what he was doing with a half chub.
Holy shit.
All he was wearing was his No, it wasn't even boxers. It was boxer briefs, so I got a good outline.
God damn. That honestly kind of reminds me of my roommate.
Oh, no.
And it's even worse.
Oh, no.
It would be, because honestly, it was the perfect time for me because my glasses broke.
Okay.
So I didn't really see anything, and I wasn't scarred for life because it was nothing but a blur. But he always wore tight underwear, and his nuts would always fall out of his underwear, and my roommates always saw it. And he would always masturbate in front of people on his bed. He was a horrible roommate, but I won't disclose his name.
You literally disclosed everyone else's name.
I like how, like...
I'll get better at this. I need to write code names for these fucks.
Oh, code names for the fucks. I'll call my roommate codename J.A., other one J.Y., other one A.L.
Oh, you're just calling them out by their initials.
Oh no, that's not even their last names.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just assumed that's what it was.
Oh no, I'm not that smart. But I'm gonna say, Al, yeah, he masturbated everywhere. Jazz, man, he really needed to wear better underwear. Jay, fuck, he got beat by a belt bad.
Poor bastard.
To a belt and a paracord.
So I think that was a good story to end off of the podcast on.
Good stories.
This has been the first episode of the Degenerates Basement podcast. You guys have anything else to say before we go?
Live, laugh, and love.
Hi, Karen. Wait, no, Susan. Susan is Karen's mom. And it's the grandmas who say that shit.
Oh no. All we need is be a little bit more happier and help out one another. I don't know.
No, go out, commit hate crimes. But political hate crimes that you can be backed up on.
And be smart. Don't murder someone without,
Being able to plead for insanity.
I was gonna say cover your crime, but I guess that works too. I guess it's not cheating unless you get caught.
Oh my god.
And that's how we should leave it off.
Alright.
See ya.
Goodbye, you assholes.